What's up, guys? I got a new comic that I'm gonna review. I'm gonna give you my first impressions of Invincible Iron Man number 11. Now, this is the first Iron Man comic I've ever read. And I was a bit confused because I heard of Riri. I've heard her in passing. I don't really know much about her, but I did not know that she was Iron Man. Or the new Iron Man. Basically, all I know about her is that she's a super genius. Because I asked the guy at the comic book store, like, he looked at me all crazy. Because it says Iron Man. Apparently this is Tony Stark or something. I only know from the movies. And the guy said this is Riri. She's like a super genius, basically the new Iron Man called Ironheart. And I was a little surprised by that. That's basically all he told me. Is she's a super genius and she's the new Iron Man. Which, it turns out she's some sort of queen. I don't know how she met Iron Man. Maybe, well, I mean, there is... She explains in the book about her meeting Iron Man when she's younger, but it also says she's in Chicago, so maybe there's some inside joke about her being a queen that I don't know. I mean, I can't criticize the comic for that because I assume it would have explained that if I read more comics. But like I said, I'm going to get into it. I've never read an Iron Man comic before. I've read very few comics, and I have seen people saying stuff about what would a new comics person, someone that's just entering comics, think about certain characters and whatever. So I am not corrupted or spoiled. I didn't know Tony Stark as Iron Man other than movies, so I have a somewhat unique perspective that I don't really know his story, so I won't naturally have something against Riri. But I will start to develop stuff, even in this. So basically, it starts off and explains that Tony Stark's in a coma, and this is like a hologram or something named Friday. Her name's Friday, I think. And she explains how she's in... Tony Stark's in a coma, and at the end it says she feels sad or something. She's worried, but that's not in programming. So Tony Stark, like in the Age of Ultron, he's creating life and shit. Sorry, I'll probably cuss from time to time because I don't know. That's how I am. You get a good thing. Apparently, this is Tony Stark's adopted, or real mother. He was adopted, I guess. Like I said, I only know from the movies and stuff about Iron Man. And you get like some weird conversation between... It said MJ. I know that MJ is Spider-Man's girlfriend or wife, or I don't know who they are now. But Spider-Man was big when I was younger, so there's like this weird... She says some weird thing about... She's reminiscing on her band member friend that adopted a kid, and they say that like they just handed over her friend adopted a kid. She went up to the orphanage and they just handed them a baby and closed the door on him. What? Like, maybe it was a terrible kid. I'm interested to know what happened to that kid. Like, why the orphanage was so ready to just put that kid, get him out of there. But there's some funny thing in this panel here, because MJ's like, talking about when before she worked for him and stuff. For Tony Stark, they had met before, but he didn't remember. And she's talking to Tony Stark's mom, and she says he had no idea we spent a night together. I thought that was funny. Like, that was a little funny thing, because she says that got your attention, which it would get, like, fans' attentions too. Like, what? Her and Tony Stark got together? Or for someone like me. So I think this comic is probably geared towards someone like me that's never really doesn't know a lot about comics. So maybe that's the crowd they're going for. So they basically talk about how how they met. There's a little thing where MJ is talking about. So this is her. She says some little thing about her being a model and how that's embarrassing, sort of, because she says it's embarrassing that she made money off her looks. Like, that's something to be ashamed of. To me, like, work with what you got. So should someone be ashamed if they make money off being a genius? Like, no. That's ridiculous. If you're a genius, you are born, like, equipped to be a genius. You're a genius whether you, like, add more knowledge to that or not. You are a genius, and you shouldn't feel ashamed to make money off being a genius. Just like if you're beautiful, you shouldn't feel ashamed of being beautiful and making money off that. It's good of her to make money off doing what you're good at. So I'm going to kind of try not to give too much of the comic away. Basically, Iron Man comes and they have a conversation, and he's drunk, and he's getting drunk, and she explains to, I don't know, she says he drinks because he likes to drink, or whatever. Some big thing. She's criticizing him because he's kind of a jerk, and there's some funny stuff. Well, not really funny, but little things about how he used to say that Iron Man was his bodyguard, and she says that no one believed that, and he says, well, 44% of America believes it, and she's like, did you poll America to see how many believe that you're not Iron Man? And he said, no, some newspaper or something, someone else polled. But now we get into Riri, and this is my first meeting of Riri, and it's a little weird. Like, she comes in, and they're both like, I don't know. It's almost like back earlier, Iron Man crashes in when Mary Jane's modeling, and everybody's like, ooh, Iron Man, this is kind of like that. But wouldn't these people know, like, Riri? Like, why? I get that they're nice, and maybe girls are like this, but this is weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe because I'm a guy, I don't know. It's just, like, weird. They're just all gushing over her, just flying in. So they're just going over stories of about Tony Stark and stuff, and how they met before. Riri goes on this date, and like I said in my last video, I don't like preachy stuff. Well, this I don't know. Let me try to adjust this camera just a little bit so I can. This goes into something about how if you have a daughter, you should do daddy-daughter dates, and they are therapeutic and empowering. You know, I kind of dislike the word empowering now. I think it's been corrupted by stuff. I don't know. but it's like a buzzword. So it's kind of annoying. Basically, Riri's stepdad or wannabe stepdad took her on a daddy-daughter date while he was trying to earn her respect, like basically make Riri like him. I don't know how old she is. It might say, I don't know. But basically some monsters come in and they're destroying stuff. Iron Man comes and saves them. But there's like a weird exchange here. Look at Iron Man. Let me go up a little bit. Look at Iron Man's leg. He's using his right boot. His left one apparently isn't working. Riri, the super genius, literally, this is all I know about her, and that apparently when she came in and talked to Tony Stark's mom, she called her the Queen of Namibia or something like that. So apparently she's some queen, but she's in Chicago. She says she's from Chicago. Like I said, I don't know what that's about. But all I really know about her is that she's a super genius. She says also his right boot wasn't working properly, and still, wow. His left boot isn't working. If his right boot isn't working properly, why isn't he using his left one? To add to this, later on, she even says it correctly. That it's the left. Hold on. His glitching boo, blah blah blah. I don't know where it was. Oh, right here. Sorry, I'm like pointing at it the whole time. The rocket thrusters on his left boot. He's glitchy. His boot's glitchy. So she doesn't. It's his right boot working properly. His left one's not. She says the wrong one down here. Then says the correct one. She doesn't know left or right. But then she says she could fix it. Does Riri have some knowledge of how Tony Stark's boots work, or I don't know? How this sounds like something my daughter would say. My daughter's 7, about to turn 8. Maybe she would have said when she was a little bit younger, like, "Oh, this was broken. I could probably fix it," but not really. Like she's believing in herself that she probably could, but I don't know. Like this seems like they're trying to show that she's a genius. It's weird. I like the drawings in this. I like all the art in this one. This is kind of the art that I expected of comics. I don't know why. It looks comic-y art, I guess. But also, there was a typo in here, which is weird. It might not be a typo. They actually might have Mary Jane's. She might have a nickname that I don't know about. But it says Many Jane was just telling me how a young punk drunk of a son of once. Wait, blah blah blah. Many Jane was just telling me how my young punk drunk of a son once hit on her at a party. I am sorry that I can barely read, guys. So there's a typo in this. Now, this isn't a terrible book. It was interesting enough. Maybe because it's interesting because I've never really read comics before. I have very limited knowledge. Maybe I started reading comics a week ago, just a little, or maybe 2 weeks ago. And I went out and bought a bunch because I heard that just people wondering what someone that's never read comics, their opinion. And I've always been interested to buy comics. I just never have. It's something that I thought I would enjoy, but I just never did it. And so that kind of pushed me to do it. and then I can make videos about my opinions of it. Since reading this, I've looked up some stuff about Riri, and apparently she gets a lot of flack. I don't think it was terrible. It just doesn't make sense. Like, look, even the cover, like I was saying, why is everybody like fawning over her? As far as I know, she hasn't done anything. Maybe she's like the best superhero, but these are people that know her, right? It's not like some person seeing Iron Man for the first time. It's like, look, Tony Stark. I'm pretty sure this is Tony Stark. I'm not 100%, but he's like, look at Riri, and then I'm pretty sure that's Mary Jane. She's like, oh, look, Iron Man. Oh, she's so great. I don't know. I would like to see something. Maybe I'm going to have to read another Iron Man comic or Riri's own comic, whatever it is. It's just weird. It's weird. Why people that would know her are just like fawning over her. I don't know. I'm gonna do some more comics reviews. They're probably gonna go a bit better than this one, a little bit more smoothly. I'm never gonna actually like set up a script or anything. I'm just gonna talk. But maybe next time I'll hold the camera like my last video, because I don't want to show too much of the comic, and maybe I'll be a little more coherent, and I'll read the comic maybe like, I've read this one twice, so maybe I'll have to read it like 4 times so that I know exactly where stuff that I want to see is, and I'll hold the camera so that I can actually zoom into what I want rather than the stand I'm using. So, it's not a terrible comic. It's weird. I don't know what to think about Riri. She doesn't know her left from her right, but she's a super genius, and she kind of feels like, I don't know, they're using her to be preachy, which in my last video I said I hate that. But yeah, that's all I got. If there's any other comics that you guys want me to read, let me know in the comments. Any terrible ones, great ones, it doesn't matter. If you want to hear what a new person thinks of certain comics, I have some other comics that I'm going to do. I have Teen Titans #1. I've been trying to get #1s. This one, they didn't have Invincible Iron Man #1, so I just got the newest one. And I like that it didn't, for the most part, it didn't expect that I knew everything. Like, this could be a standalone thing, I guess. But everybody's just worried about Tony Stark being in a coma. That's why they were reminiscing about him. So, there's kind of a twist ending that I didn't want to show you guys. That's okay, I guess. Maybe I'll read this one again. I'll give this one another shot, and maybe I'll get the next issue and see. I'll do a review of that. But I have some other first issues like Teen Titans and a couple other ones. But like I said, let me know in the comments which ones you want me to do, which comics you want me to buy and review. If you want some like not DC or Marvel, if there's any ones, or give me some recommendations of ones that are really good. Sorry, this video kind of rambled on way longer than I thought. But if you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. Leave me a comment, subscribe, hit the notification thing for notifications. Or don't let some disembodied voice tell you what the fuck to do. Alright, take it easy.